and welcome back. This is episode 25 of my Realignment 2028 series as the expansion team Oakland A's. We are just about to start the 2033 season, and I went over the spring training or opening day lineup at the end of spring training, the end of last episode. But here's a quick overview of our rotation, bullpen. You can see the names here for yourself. And then lineups. Not a ton of big changes from last year, honestly. The biggest addition is we got Durangelo Sangja back, who is going to be working out of the bullpen because he was a starter for Houston and then subsequently lost some stamina. So, back end bullpen guy for us. Maybe working as some kind of starter if some guys get hurt or the rotation doesn't work out. We'll see. Strappadopoulos starting the year as a starter after coming up from AAA last year. We'll have to see how things go here. I guess let's just get into it. April 4th, so we do have active roster of 30 players. I'll stop if anything interesting happens, any injuries, updates, etc. I claimed a few guys on waivers opening day. Probably no one too crazy to talk about. Mainly just depth guys that I'm probably going to try to stash in the minors. We'll see how that goes. I'll let you know if there's any interesting updates. So we are 1-3 to start the season, and if that's not bad enough, PCA out for 3 to 4 weeks with an oblique strain. Brutal after. And Wade Shelley is injured too. Okay, I was going to say. He was going to be our backup center fielder. Justin Grant, we're going to make sure that he doesn't play on that minimal injury. Just like that, we are suddenly low on outfield depth. And the John Spikerman claim might come into play sooner than expected. Who could actually play center field in our minors? Shagan Lin kind of can. He did decently last year. It might be Siani as well. I mean, we've got Victor Scott II, who will be back in 2 to 3 months as depth. That doesn't really help right now. We might. And I don't have a roster slot for anyone either is the thing. So let's see. Danny Aguilar already using rosters. Okay, so I want to keep Vela down here to keep he's off to a kind of a poor start in AAA across 7 games. And Aguilar is off to a better start and played in the MLB all of last year. So, and I don't want to make any 40-man moves just yet, so we're going to put Aguilar on the roster. Okay. Finish today. Wade Shelley with a moderate injury. Okay. I don't really want him to play through that. So So severity at least minimal. And then I think I'm going to have Siani play everyday center field until Shelley is not hurt. And then it will be Shelley. Yeah. And let's just do this. Lots of left-handed bats in the lineup here. Yeah, and then Aguilar can play in backup roles here. Okay, not the best start to the season. Thankfully, we do have John Spikerman, who we just grabbed off of waivers, and Sheng-En Lin can potentially fill in at center field too. But yeah, both of those guys will take a 40-man spot, so I need to figure that out sooner rather than later. His swim got absolutely demolished in his first start. That's not good. 1 1/3, 5 earned runs, 7 hits. Yeah, not a great first start. Okay. We're going to keep going. The plan will be Shelley will swap in to be everyday center fielder once he is healthy with that oblique strain. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. And the injuries keep coming as Jackson Ferris out for 4 to 5 weeks with a strained shoulder. And we are off to a 1-7 start as well. Yeah. I really don't want to bring up someone like Eddie Rainville or Aguilar yet. Kevin Davison, maybe. Because he's off to a decent start. The other option would be Joe Soliday, but he has struggled to start the season. Or Brent Warren, but he started the year in Double-A. Yeah, I mean, Kevin Davison's only 22, but why not? I guess. I mean, I can try to. Maybe Eddie Rainville is ready. I mean, he's had 2 good games, and I need a starting pitcher. So it's either go with Sieber, who has honestly struggled a little bit to start the year, or I give Eddie Rainville a shot. And yeah, I guess we'll go for it. Unless I have anyone else. I mean, I could go with Davison. John Stewart getting shelled to start the season. Yeah, I mean, let's go with Eddie Rainville. Why not? And he'll start off throwing just 85 pitches. All right. We keep going. All right, it is May 1st. Not the best start to the season as we go 10-14 to start the year. It's the first month I think we finished under 500 in a while, but we did also have PCA out for most of the month with an injury, so could be worse, I guess. Roster is down to 26 players. We released our Rule 5 pick, John Stewart, back to his original team, and also sent down Chris Arden, who had not a great start to the year. Shuffled a few things around too. Hudson has done really well to start the year, so he's going to slot in as our closer, keeping Sinja and Sieber in as stoppers. Both of them have been okay. Bourgeois stays in a setup. Not a whole lot of other changes here. We'll like to see our middle relief guys get a little bit more time as well. Starters have been kind of a mixed bag so far. Gavin Jones has done well to start the year. Bello has been okay. Strapadopoulos has been okay. Swim, good. Outside of his first start, he's been really good, actually. And then Eddie Rainville coming in 3 very solid starts so far. Despite his 40 control, the 75 stuff, I think, makes up for it. So he will continue to be our 5th starter. In terms of lineups, we sent down Zimmerman and Danny Aguilar. And let's see. I know Justin Grant is doing well to start the year. OPS over 1,000. He's going to get a bit more playing time. That's still with a really striking, like his OPS versus right-handed hitters is 33 or pitchers, and then his OPS plus against lefties is 327. So I don't know how sustainable that is, but I imagine those will come more in line with what we expect here. Cutter Coffee also off to a pretty decent start to the season in limited playing time, so he's going to get a little bit more playing time at first base, and he's actually going to start at first base against left-handed hitters since Kinney's not doing great against lefties this year. In terms of our overall organization, not really excelling at anything in the moment. Our total zone rating is actually negative, which is kind of surprising because usually our defense is solid. I think that's due to playing Ciani at center field for a good chunk of time. PCA actually has negative ZR to start the season, which is, I guess over 6 games, but still a little surprising. And then negative 1.7 ZR for Santana too. That's very surprising because that's across 23 games, and not really sure what's going on there, since his defense is usually his main source of value there. But we're going to continue on. It's May 1st. No super notable prospect promotions or demotions, I think. Contreras, I think, is the only one. He went from A+ to AA. So we are going to continue on. Hopefully May is better than April was, but we'll see. May 15th. May has been much kinder than April, as we are now 21-16. Yeah, and tied for first place in the division. But some sad news as one of our former top prospects, Kevin Davison, tore his labrum, and not only his season but his career is over. Not a fun thing to see. He was a second round pick in 2029. Was actually on the 40-man roster. I thought about bringing him up and kind of a what if scenario. Yeah, he will not see big league playing time. Unfortunate. He had spent the last year and change in AAA and was knocking on the door, but yeah, it's was not to be. So we will continue on. Jackson Ferris is back from injury, making rehab starts. His last rehab start didn't go so well, so I'll give him one more before putting him back in the rotation here. If he goes back into the rotation, because our starters are actually doing pretty well overall. Rainville has come up and done very well in limited time. And yeah, we have the third best starter ERA in the AL right now, so I may not change what isn't working, or what is working. But yeah, the bullpen, on the other hand, is eighth in ERA, and definitely can see some areas for potential improvement there. So we'll have to see what happens when he comes back up. I'll probably make a quick update when that happens as well. So talk to you soon. Alright, so a bit of an unexpected trade here, but I think it's one that makes sense. We're waiving Tanner Scott after a only 7 innings but pretty mediocre start to the season. Jackson Ferris taking his spot on the active roster, and we're picking up Javier Hernandez, who looks like he could maybe be a decent reliever. 23 years old in Double-A ball. Yeah, and we save a little bit of money in the process by doing so. So makes sense. Let's go ahead and complete the trade. And yeah, Jackson Ferris is stepping back into the bullpen as a stopper. I want to leave my rotation how it is for now, although Swim a little bit of a shaky start in his last 2 outings, so kind of keep an eye on that and see if maybe there's going to be more adjustments needed. Both Aguilar and Lopez have struggled a little bit to start the season, although I don't see Lopez. He might be hurt. Yeah, he's injured for 1 week, but 5.24 ERA. Yeah, both of them still need a little bit of time. So, gonna keep going here. 23-20, and yeah, let's see if we can keep the momentum going throughout the rest of May. Alright, another injury here as Patrick Bailey out for 3 weeks with a hamstring strain. Fortunately, the call up for this should be fairly easy, as Dylan Moss is off to a hot start in AAA and is already on the 40-man roster. So we'll go with him, and yeah, we'll see how things go. Alright, so it is June 1st. We are now 27-25 after going 17-11 in May. Much better than April. Still 2.5 games back of the Angels for the division lead, and a half game out of a wild card spot. So not the best place to be, but still plenty of season left to go. So, unfortunately, we do have Gavin Jones on the IL with a sore elbow, playing it safe with a moderate injury, and he's out for 2 weeks, which means that we're moving Sieber into the rotation. He's going to take the 4 spot. calling up Logan Redeman in place of Jones to take his spot in the bullpen. He's had a solid season to start AAA. We're already paying him a big league salary this year. Might as well keep rolling with that. And as far as the lineups go, one change is Gerald Zimmerman. 1 second. As far as lineups go, Gerald Zimmerman has made his way back to the big leagues as Cooper Kinney has struggled to start the season a bit and had options, so he'll be down in AAA. I'd like to find a way to get Mike Fugate up to the major leagues, as he's been on an absolute tear to start the AAA season, but I don't think there's a spot for him at the moment, as Cutter Coffee and Justin Grant both doing well to start the year, and Brett Beatty not doing great to start the year, but doesn't have options, and I'm not willing to completely give up on him just yet. So we'll go with this lineup from June 1st on, and yeah, we got the first year draft combine in just a few days, so let's sim to that and see how that goes. So it is June 7th, which means it's the start of the first year draft combine. I have 12 guys on here that I like. Again, we draft 36th in the draft this year, so trying to choose guys that have a decent chance of falling to us. There's some guys up here near the top that I like a lot: Jeff Harder, David Scott, Kevin Prohl. I threw them on a short list just in case they somehow do fall, but I figure that's unlikely. Even Vitenka Amatov is unlikely to fall this far, I think, but guys like Kalani Lyons, John Becker, Bill McCoy, who I really hope falls is Nick Benuelos, who looks really, really solid overall. Control's a little low, but I like that he has 6 pitches, stamina's decent. Yeah, and he's durable, which is nice. So gonna go ahead and go through the draft combine, and we'll see kind of how these players react and or move. Yeah, we'll see. And draft combine, yeah. Let's go ahead and do one. Yeah, and Chris Alexander was one that I looked at and I actually like quite a bit, but he's projected to go like something like 7th overall. Yeah, 7th, which seems really high for someone with his ratings, but maybe his ratings don't tell the whole story there. I don't know. As no one, Nick Benuelos has high league interest, but everyone else is average or lower. That's fine, as we win also against Colorado 6-2. Yep, Bello had a good game there. Cool. 5-0 win against Colorado. Nice job by Strapadopoulos there. And let's go back to the draft watch list. Yeah, Benuelos is up to very high. So I think it's unlikely that he's actually going to fall to our pick, but we can hope. Even then, a lot of these guys, I tried to choose more college guys. There are a good number of guys that were in their 20s that project to be like pretty solid players versus the guys with super high potential. I think those make more sense here at this spot. As we win again versus Colorado, so we just swept them off the back of Eddie Rainville's nice start here. Yeah. And Bourgeois Ferris with the 3 innings save. Like to see that, as he is doing well in the stopper role. Sieber hasn't started yet, I don't think. No, he had started one, and did well in his second start. So we're kind of on a roll here, as the combine keeps going. Yeah, we're up to high or average on all of these guys. I'm not going to make any changes here. Keep building up relationships with these guys and scout accuracy. So definitely want both of those. Okay, and yeah, and we win again versus Kansas City. So that's good stuff from the draft combine. Yeah, and here's our full draft short list. Yeah, Benuelos. Let's see if he changed at all. Current stuff dropped from 45 to 40. That's still not bad. If he drops to us, I'd easily take him. Prohl and Scott. I mean, both of these guys look excellent too. I doubt they're going to drop. Amatov. Potential power improves from 50 to 55. Oh man. Okay. I mean, that was one of his weakest categories before, so I don't mind that actually. Anyway, so that's the scouting combine. No real other updates. I don't think I mentioned I moved Alex Rivera up to AA. He's actually wanting to play in the majors currently. He's very unhappy that he's still only in AA at 19, which seems unrealistic, but I mean, he's putting up a sub-1 ERA in AA, so it might be time to move him to AAA even. I don't usually move guys up that quickly, but he would be one that I'd think about it. I mean, yeah, I mean, he projects to be almost as good in AAA. Yeah, crazy numbers there. And as far as our other top pitchers go, I think Eddie Aguilar he's unhappy with the role on the team. I think he also would like to be playing in the majors. I just want to see a little bit more from him. Diego Lopez is just happy to be here. That's good. I was going to show something. That's right. The All-Star vote update. We have several players in contention for All-Star spots this year. Volpe currently leading the vote for second base. He's off to a great start this year. And we've got PCA in second place in votes for the center field spot, mainly off of his reputation, as his year so far has been a bit underwhelming, I'd say. He's also dealt with injuries the first part of this year too, so I think that may have something to do with it. Steven Martinez also, largely I think off the back of his excellent season from last year, although he's off to a decent start this year as well. And then I know DeJesus was on the designated hitter list. He's dropped off there. Gavin Jones currently top vote getter for starting pitcher, as Logan Gilbert is in second place. Yeah, and that is it for now, but several players in position. One player who you notice is in here is Drake Baldwin, as we continue to compare and contrast him and Wells. Baldwin off to a good start this season. Wells not as good of a start, but starting to come on a little strong, although he has apparently dropped to a 2.5 star potential. Despite no corresponding ratings drop, but but we'll see. I mean, he, yeah, still off to a solid start this year. Um, so we'll see. And DeJesus also off to a solid start. Like, he is mainly DHing, but playing occasionally in the field and putting up solid numbers there. So, um, yeah, we'll have to see how things go. Um, yeah, Volpe has been the best player on our team by WAR so far this year. Um, but I think it's our starting pitching and our bullpen pitching in general has been really good this year. Yeah, outside of Swim, who's currently rocking a 5.3 ERA, pretty solid overall by everyone in the bullpen, really. Hudson really shining in that closer role with a sub 1 ERA across 22 games, 16 innings pitched. Um, Ferris doing well in the stopper role so far. Just look at all these 2 and 3 inning appearances without earned runs. That's great to see. Sinja and Bourgeois have both settled in a bit after Senja especially like struggled a little bit to start the season, and his FIP's still a little bit on the high side, but you'll take that. Kirkering wants to be the closer, but we have too many good guys ahead of him. Redeman, hasn't allowed an earned run yet across 3 appearances, 2 appearances. Yeah, and then Marino and Clevenger perfectly fine as the back half of the bullpen. Back third of the bullpen, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna keep going. Probably do the draft on the first half of the episode again, as it will line up pretty much exactly with the All-Star game once again. Yeah, we'll do that on camera so you can see that, and I'll keep simming until we get to there, unless anything interesting happens. Well, I'll probably stop on July 1st as well. I usually like to make roster changes and promotions, demotions as well around that time. So, probably see you at July 1st. June 21st. Two good pieces of news here. One is that we are back on top in the AL West by half a game over the Angels. Yeah, love to see that. The other good piece of news is we finally got Gavin Jones back from injury. His moderate injury ended up getting extended past 2 weeks. And so, yeah, let's see how he does in his first start back. 3-1 win. Had him go only 80 pitches since he's, coming off an injury. I think that's fine. PCA got player of the game. Love to see that as well. And yeah, he slots back into the rotation. Sieber's been doing well in the rotation, so he'll stick in there for now. I sent Clevenger back down and moved Swim to the long relief role in our bullpen, since he's struggled a bit to start the year in the rotation. So, yeah, Hudson first run allowed in like 20 something games, I think, in his last game. He's been on fire in the closer role, so he will stay there for the foreseeable future. Let's go ahead and set him as closer. And yeah, things are kind of hitting on all cylinders right now. So, any interesting updates as far as All-Star voting goes? I don't see anything immediately interesting. Oh, Senja moves into the fifth spot for reliever. So he's got a chance to make the All-Star team, despite, not probably not being the best reliever on our team this year. I'd give that to Hudson so far, or even Ferris maybe with his performance coming out of the pen so far in limited time. By WAR, it's actually Bourgeois too, who's quietly having a great season with .9 pitcher WAR out of the bullpen. Yeah, in fact, lots of our guys are having very solid seasons, and surprisingly, TJ Strapatopoulos currently leading our team in pitcher WAR. I guess it's not that surprising considering Gavin Jones just missed a few starts, but still. Anyway, let's keep going till July 1st. It's now July 1st, and we're still in first in the AL West by 2 games, 46 and 33. We ended up going 19 and 8 in June, so things continuing to turn around nicely. We haven't had too many drastic changes since the last update. The biggest thing, well, 2 things. One is that Justin Grant got into a brawl on the field and got himself suspended for 5 games. So Mike Fugate getting his chance in the big league here. We'll see what he can do with that. And also, we've been rolling with Dylan Moss as our backup catcher. He's hitting well, especially against lefties. 192 against lefties, which is really what we like to see with Wells as our primary catcher, since he does not hit lefties well at all. I mean, you can see he has a negative OPS plus against left-handed pitching this year. But, much 103 against right-handed pitching. He's struggled a bit to start this year. Definitely not the numbers that we kind of come to expect from him. So we'll see how he progresses as the season goes on. Wade Shelley also having a pretty good year for him. His OPS plus against righties is really good. So we did tweak it so he's got more time. Anthony and Martinez have both struggled at times this year. Anthony's struggling a bit more currently, so Shelley's getting the start in favor of him. And I think everyone else is roughly doing as expected. DeJesus up to 2 WAR on the season, playing primarily DH, which is nice to see. He's hitting quite well, which you would hope and expect from these ratings. Hit 17 home runs, on pace for 35. Good stuff. We're about a week and a half away from the draft, and we'll see how things go until then. Quick, I guess, prospect update. I don't remember if I showed Alex Rivera getting promoted to AAA after a blazing start in AA. Struggling a little bit to start in AAA, but we'll see how things go there. Aguilar still putting up solid numbers. I think if we have any injuries or if one of our starters starts to struggle, we could see Aguilar up sooner rather than later. Although Clevenger in his 1 start has done well as well, and Diego Lopez also putting up pretty solid numbers, I'd say too. A lot of guys kind of knocking on the door. Dupuis doing well. Let's see, Feldman just got promoted from A+ after doing quite well to start the year. He still needs his power up a bit, but not bad at all. yeah, he'll probably stick at Double A for the rest of the year if I had to guess. And then several pitchers, Jackson, Castaneda, and Chacon, all got promoted from A to A plus. Freeman also got promoted from A to A plus after uh, hitting for 2.4 WAR and an OPS over 1,000 in A ball. So that's, I think, most of the top prospects that I want to talk about. Danny Sanchez started out in Dominican ball and was absolutely crushing it there. So he'll move up to the Arizona complex for the rest of the year. Should be fine there with these ratings, I imagine. Um, yeah, Danny Sanchez, we just signed last year, and he looks quite good. So we'll have to see how he continues to progress. Got kind of high hopes for him, as he is one of our two, I guess, top 100 prospects. The other one being Ivan Uribe, who has kind of had a mediocre start to the season, and honestly, I wouldn't even consider one of our top prospects currently. The fact that Alex Rivera is not ranked at all currently is kind of crazy to me, given that he's practically knocking on the door of the big leagues at age 19. Yeah, that's a bit crazy. But anyway, yeah, we'll keep simming on, and we will see how things go. All right, so quite a few interesting developments here as we have made it to the All-Star break. First and foremost is that we are still in first place in the AL West, have a 2-game lead over the Angels, 52 and 37, and we are, let's see here, 6 and 4 in the month of July, so not bad. Yeah, holding steady in there. I also just noticed here on the leaderboards, we have a few of our guys showing up here. Bello showing up for wins, Volpe showing up for stolen bases, and then here's the really interesting one. DeJesus currently tied for second in the AL with 21 home runs. Kyle Reed from Minnesota, who was former number one pick in 2028, has 42 home runs at the All-Star break, which is just absurd. Yeah, on pace for 76 for the year, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that. See if he sets the single season home run record. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue against that first overall pick, as he's, currently having a prime Barry Bonds-esque season. Not walking, just striking out way more. Also on pace for over 200 strikeouts this year, but when you hit 70 home runs, I think you'll forgive that. So, other interesting thing here is that one of our faves, Adrian Santana, has struggled to start the season. Currently has negative WAR. His fielding not quite at the elite level that we're used to, so he's gonna spend a little bit of time in the minor leagues to give Mike Fugate a little bit more playing time, as he's off to a decent start in the major leagues. We shifted Volpe over to shortstop, where he is currently starting. He's more than capable of starting at shortstop. That was his original position. And Fugate backing him up, with Grant sliding in to start at second base, who's also done well to start the season. So we'll see if we stick with this, or if Santana comes back up and slides back into that shortstop position. I mean, he's only played in one game so far. Yeah, we'll see. Also of note is that the All-Star game rosters have been announced, and let's see. First, we'll go through the prospects game rosters, and Oh, that reminds me of another update. Joe Soliday has been selected as a closer for the AL, and let's see, Danny Sanchez also showing up in the AL roster. Um, but well, before I forget, they did update the prospect rankings, and I know in the last update I was just complaining that Alex Rivera was not a top 100 prospect, despite knocking on the door of the major leagues. He is now. He's 35th in Major League Baseball. Danny Sanchez up to 27th. We now have four in the top 100. Susumi's still rated highly by OSA, despite our scout being a little bit down on him overall, but he's doing well in A plus. Could see a bump up to double A before the year is done if his ratings go up to match. Yeah, he's doing quite well. And then Aguilar also knocking on the door. He's already got 2 WAR across 18 games in AAA. If there's any injuries or anything to our bullpen or starting pitching, like, he's probably the next man up, I think. And definitely would come up in September if that's not the case. But yeah, we are at the All-Star break. So let's go ahead and see the All-Star game rosters. I started looking at this. I didn't go all the way through. I do know Gavin Jones, not only selected as a starting pitcher for the AL, he's actually starting for the AL this year. I think largely off the back more of his performance last season than this season. He's down a touch this season, but still putting up solid numbers this year. You could argue that he maybe deserved to be an all-star last year. Kind of maybe a makeup all-star call. Bourgeois and Ferris also make it in our bullpen. I think those are both deserving nods. Ferris especially has been excellent as a stopper, currently on pace for 1.6 WAR coming out of the bullpen and a sub 2 ERA. Love to see that. Interestingly, both Wells was never in competition for a catcher spot, but Drake Martinez I see dropped out of here as well. And then, wow, Volpe was snubbed for. Oh no, he wasn't. He's listed as a shortstop because that's what he is currently playing. He will be in the All-Star game, as is DeJesus. So we have what, total of 5 representatives in the All-Star game? That's pretty solid. I'll take that. Anyone else off to crazy starts this season? Bobby Rhodes already has 4.2 WAR for the season. That's pretty dang good. I think we looked at Kyle Reed already, who's a shortstop now, by the way. He was drafted as a first/third baseman, but it looks like they outstandingly completed training to improve his infield defense, and now he's a Gold Glove caliber shortstop as well, and that also hits for obscene power. Jose Montero, formerly on our team, made it for Houston as well. At a quick glance, I don't see any other former Oakland A's in here that I can recognize. So that's the All-Star game. And we also are to the first-year player draft. So let's go ahead and get into it. Again, I do have a short list made up of everyone that kind of looked interesting. I'm not expecting most of these players to drop to us. We have pick number, I think, 35 with comp picks and everything in 36 in this year's draft. And we don't have any comp picks. We didn't lose any picks either, so it'll just be a straight, 1, 2, 3. And as per usual, I'll show the first few rounds of the draft. I usually go through 10 just because it's interesting to go through, I think. Hopefully some of the guys that we looked at in the draft combine will fall to us. Nick Banuelos would be the hope, I think. But given that he did get some good attention during the combine, I think it's unlikely that he's going to fall that far. But we'll see. you never know. Yeah, so let's go into the draft. I'll do the first few picks manually here and then sim to our pick. So let's see who goes first overall. It is Miguel Vigo, who was projected to go second, goes first. Yeah, that's not a huge surprise. Boston Red Sox take Kevin Prohl, who was on our short list, but again, projected to go high. I can see why. He looks quite good. Catcher is one of those positions, too, that I always struggle to fill. Even now, like at the All-Star break, as I'll tangent a little bit, Austin Wells is potentially showing signs of falling off here a little bit, and we have him under contract for 3 more seasons, so that's a little concerning, but I think Drake Martinez maybe fell off a little bit as well, potentially. Yeah, I mean, he's doing better, but his numbers are definitely down a little bit from last year, too. So, Kevin Prohl, let's see. Jeff Harder, yeah, these are all guys that were expected to go in the top 10. Rocky Wenzel, all the guys that I liked and put on a short list. Basically, Brandon Heido, he wasn't supposed to go until 16, so he's jumped up a little bit. Okay, so let's go into auto draft from here after the first 5 picks. I think we're hoping for the pitcher, Banuelos, but we'll see if he actually falls that far. Okay, as he does not fall that far. He goes to 23. Daniel Hernandez. All right, so let's go to our sortable list, and shortlisted is yes, all players. So here's kind of who we're looking at most likely. John Becker was a name that did look interesting. I remember that. Tim Lee, I probably wouldn't want to take with this pick. Bill McCoy. Let's go ahead and do. I can't see draft recap. There we go. Okay, so I can do this and request scouting report, and that should show. This is my little hack to show roughly where they're expected to go in mock drafts. Yeah, so I can see, the highest projected pick was Tim Lee. And I mean, he does look good. High movement, very high control. If he gets his stuff up even a little bit, he becomes an elite pitcher. And does have a 5-pitch mix already, too. So, the high movement, high control guys, I think have been better in 26 overall, out of the park 26. I do like John Becker. He just seems like a pretty solid overall player. Bill McCoy is kind of more upside. I like the high defense potential here more than anything, and he has high work ethic. Pretty decent hitting ratings, but he is 18. Little more of a risky pick. Matt Perkins just looks pretty solid all around as a pick here. Let's look and see who some other guys that were maybe expected to go high that haven't gone yet. Joe Whipperman, Conway Crims, Shane Gaynor. Yeah, not a lot of guys that I'm just like thrilled about. So I think the choice here is between Becker and Lee, just based on who is left available. Don Shields. Let's compare Don Shields and Becker because they're pretty similar overall. But yeah, Becker has much higher contact potential versus much higher gap, or much higher I and slightly higher gap in power for shields. I'd rather have the contact personally, just because that tends to be better overall. He's also got higher current ratings, which matters a little bit. They're both the same age. Shield's slightly better at stealing. What about defense? Yeah, Becker the better defender as well. So yeah, I think Becker is the better player here overall. Now the question is Becker or Lee. I doubt either of them makes it back around to our second round pick. So it's really just deciding who we want more. And I think I lean towards Becker here just because we have a lot of pitching depth in our minors right now. And I also think Lee is just potentially more of a risky pick, being a younger player too. Whereas Becker is potentially closer to being major league ready. Could maybe see the field sooner rather than later. So let's go with Becker here. I like that pick. And his bonus demand is under slot, very easy signability. We like all of those things as well. So Becker goes for us, and let's see. Okay. So most of our guys are off the board. Matt Perkins still available at the second round pick. Dylan Bailey looks pretty decent as well. Levi Galloway, he's 22, and he has the nickname Schwarbs, which is just like, yeah, I love when the AI just throws nicknames on there that don't fit at all. You know, he's not a Schwarbs really, but anyway, let's take off the filter and see if there's any other exciting looking players here. So if we go to pitchers, Perkins is probably still the best out of the bunch. There's RJ Parker. He's only got 3 pitches though. And a lot of closers slash relievers, which, yeah, I'm not too thrilled about most of these guys. Batters. Yeah, let's look at batting draft for the batters. Bobby Bailey. I mean, he has really high contact potential, but really low current ratings. Dylan Bailey, not as good, pretty decent current ratings, but not as high potential. I think the choice here is going to be Matt Perkins. Like, he's just, he is 19, but he should be able to start in Arizona Complex next year without too much difficulty. Could he play an A-ball this year? Maybe. It's borderline. Yeah, not a lot of talent that's wowing me here. I mean, it makes sense because we're picking towards the end of each round, but even then, it seems like kind of maybe a step down from other drafts that I've seen here. Yeah, not a lot of players that I'm really super thrilled about. All right. Yeah, and we are already past the second round and out of guys that Imali Symbol Tunk. Okay. Yeah, these are all guys that I shortlisted solely due to their names in the last draft. So, yeah, so we're just flying here. I mean, we could take a chance on like Dylan Bailey. Because honestly, like, there's not a whole lot left that I'm really thrilled about. You know, Trevor Bates looks okay. but will likely be there in the next round. Let's go ahead and throw him on my short list just so I remember him. Dylan Bailey. Where was he expected to go? Tim Lee, McCoy, Perkins, Munn, Galloway, Shields. Was he even? He's not even projected to go in the top 5. Okay. And we were what, in the 3rd round? Yeah, okay. So we're already out of guys that I like. And we're only in the 3rd round. That's rough. That's rough. Let's see. Are there any pitchers that I'm looking at here? Chris Glisson looks decent with high work ethic. I like the 6 pitches. I like high work ethic. Let's see. Dave Gates looks okay. He's also impossible to sign. Dan Berg is another high movement, high control kind of guy. Jake Brocker. Listed as a starting pitcher, but does only have 40 stamina. Has a kind of a weak 4th pitch. But he looks okay. I mean, okay, so I liked Chris Glisson, I think, out of these names. So it'd be either Glisson or Dylan Bailey. I think seems like batter is way more thin than pitcher in this draft. There's also Bobby Bailey, who's at least interesting. You know, he's got pretty weak power and needs better eye for sure. But eye is one of the easier things to train. Bobby Bailey, where is he projected to go? Perkins, Munn, Bobby Bailey. In the 3rd, right before my pick. So maybe we take a chance here and do Bobby Bailey and then hope that Dylan falls. Dylan Bailey. I wonder if they're brothers. That would be kind of funny. The Bailey brothers. I don't know if these are real or fictional players at this point. Probably fictional. There was a Bob Bailey that played 17 seasons for the Pirates, Dodgers, Expos between 1962 and 1978. But yeah, Bobby Bailey doesn't appear to be a real player. So my headcanon is that these guys are brothers. Bobby Bailey is impossible to sign, but I think we've drafted the first 2 under slot. So let's go ahead and grab him here. Why not? And then auto draft. Oh, Dylan was taken. Okay, so let's see. Glisson is still available, and I think that's going to be the pick here. He does one above slot. That's fine. And our scout says to take Mike Horner, who I'm lukewarm on. Doug McGovern. I don't mind Eric Cave. He's got a lot of good traits. John Armstrong is intriguing too, with pretty good defensive ratings. Eric Cave is durable, has high work ethic and baseball IQ. Pretty average to above average batting ratings across the board. Pretty mediocre fielder, but okay. And then Armstrong, yeah, doesn't have the personality traits, but I like the rest of his kit here. Let's try Armstrong. Okay, and we're into the 6th round. I remember I did like Trevor Bates. Let's also look and see Chris Chase. Looks alright. He is 22. Josh Monkus. Yeah, Trevor Bates, 21, about to turn 22, but pretty decent hitting ratings for a catcher already, and not bad defense. I think I like this pick. And let's see, let's sort by power potential and see Chris Skloot. He's a avoid K's guy, low avoid K's guy. David Formica and Jonathan Millian. Both of those are kind of that same archetype as well. Mark Anderson is interesting. Higher total rating. Jimmy Meach. Yeah, none of these guys are like wowing me. Let's see. Kevin Allen. Alright, so if I go to pitching draft, let's look just at starters. Movement potential. 40, 60, 70. Johnny Baker. Low control. Francisco Buendia. Grimes. Man, again, not a lot of guys that are just wowing me. Hey, we're only in the 7th round. Like, about some high stuff guys. John Kelleher. Or Johnny Baker. Salika Dare. He's only got 35 stamina, but I like everything else. And he is 21. But I like everything else. I don't know. Yeah, let's try it. Salika Dare. I like the name too. When all else fails, that's never a bad tiebreaker for me, because it's more fun when guys with interesting names succeed. At least in my book. Chris Chase, I think we had looked at before. He's like 22 and a half, but looks like a decent player. We could go with one of these guys that's like pretty decent overall. Art Martin, I don't love the look of him. Yeah, I mean, I think Chris Chase in the eighth round is fine. Good outfield depth at the very least. That's kind of where I'm at with this draft. It's just very, you know, maybe a lot of auto drafting in my future. As there's not a lot here that I'm like incredibly excited about. I could try to take one of these high potential guys, I guess, or high power potential guys. And out of those archetypes, I think I like Anderson the best. He's got the same power, worse-ish defense, but higher avoid K's potential because like 35 is already like pretty much, I don't want to say unplayable, but it's not good. I mean, I think we saw, you basically have to be Kyle Reed to be playable with a super low avoid Ks, and I mean he's making it work, but yeah, we need some other luck on our side there too. So yeah, we'll go for Mark Anderson. Why not? And round 10. So this will be the last one I show on camera, and yeah, let's see if we've got any interesting pitchers still out here. Cody Grimes. I think Grimes was a guy I looked at and didn't mind too much. Sean Guns. Velocity potential over 100 miles per hour. Any of these guys that look particularly interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate taking a reliever, I guess, in the 10th. Could maybe go for a starter instead. I looked at Cody Grimes. About Donovan Jones. He looks okay. Corey Vargas. And Josh Ward. Ward is almost 22. Okay. I think I like, out of all these names, let's go with Cody Grimes, I think. Just the high pitch potential here and a decent pitch. Like, he can probably do fine at A ball. Yeah. Which is where I'd want to start him, I think. The other option would be Sean Guns. Yeah, let's go for Cody Grimes. Ooh, as Guns does get taken off the board here. Okay. The rest I'll do off camera, and then I'll show you the final draft results here. So stay tuned. All right, so we ended up drafting, Art Martin, who we looked at briefly earlier. I don't think there's anyone too thrilling here in the back half of the draft. Zaylen Ott is who we went with for our 20th round pick. Looks decent and has a fun name. So, looking at signing bonuses. Yeah, I think we'll do 1.2 million for our first round pick. He's very easy. Matt Perkins. I will just do what he offered. Bobby Bailey wants above $7.5 million. Okay, I mean that's a lot. Okay, so if we do our other picks here, Chris Glisson, who we signed in the fourth round, wants 3.2 million. So we'll have the budget for it. So I guess I will offer him. Let's see. If I usually do 1.5 times their asking bonus, so he would want 11.25 million. I'm not doing that. I will offer him 8.5 million. It still puts us over budget, but and is honestly still a crazy offer for a third round pick. But if he declines it, we get a comp pick for it, or we should, I believe. So I'm not gonna be too broken up either way. And I guess that'll be a nice cliffhanger for next time, to see whether he actually accepts that offer or not. In terms of next, yeah, we'll have to look and see if there are trades that we can make to improve the team. The pitching has looked really good so far. Starters, no one has really risen above to be our true ace. Bellows leading the team in WAR. I mean, Jones has the ratings, I think, to be the ace, but hasn't backed it up yet with the ERA. The bullpen has been just really solid all around. No complaints really there. The batting has been a little on the weak side, I guess. Volpe's having a good season. DeJesus is having a good season. Everyone else has been okay. Zimmerman's starting to get hot, which is nice. But there's still, I think, something missing from this lineup. But of course, there's nothing but pitchers on the trading block right now. So, yeah, I mean, who would be the top batter that's even available by WAR? Nathaniel Lowe, who, I mean, is having a good season so far, but he'd be a DH type and honestly looks like a bit of an outlier season for him, too. Yeah, so I don't know what we do to make any obvious upgrades to the team. I might have to hunt around a bit and see if there are some teams that are maybe out of contention, like the Marlins, who might be willing to part with, someone who's having a good season. Or even the Twins. They've got Kyle Reed. Yeah, they're not going to give him up for anything. Keyshawn Legito. A minor league signing. Was he an international free agent? No, he was just a straight up minor league signing in 2031. Must have had some good. Yeah, he did have some ratings increases in there. Okay, well, I'll look around and see if there's trades that make sense. But that'll be the end of this episode. The second half of the season will be in the next episode. We'll see. I mean, this is a season that's pretty interesting so far because I think in some of the past seasons we've kind of jumped out to a huge division lead, and it was more of a okay, let's solidify the team and get ready for the playoffs kind of feel. And this is very much, with the Angels nipping at our heels here, let's solidify the team to make the playoffs. Even though we'd be in position for a wild card spot right now, like we do have the second best record in the AL, but I still don't feel safe. So we'll have to see what makes sense, what's out there, and yeah, what kind of improvements we can do for our team. There was a somewhat interesting trade where the Cardinals were interested in Roman Anthony and offered us a prospect. I mean, maybe we could swing a trade with them for someone like Khalil Watson. How they want Justin Grant back for him. Yeah, I don't know. I'll play around with stuff a little bit and see if there's any interesting trades out there. That's kind of what we'll be doing next time as we make a push for the playoffs in 2033. Thanks again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell all your friends and family about the exploits of the fictional Oakland A's. And I'll see you next time.